First Nations have been caring for their land since time immemorial. In the last 2 centuries, colonization has disrupted Indigenous peoples' laws, knowledge systems, customs, and practices, impacting First Nations' ability to care for the land. Today, many First Nations in BC are engaging in land use planning to exercise their Aboriginal rights and title and strengthen control over their territories and lands. Naut'sa mawt Tribal Council, which supports 11-member First Nations, partnered with Beringia Community Planning to create Our Sacred Land, Indigenous Peoples Community Land Use Planning Handbook in BC. Land use planning includes identifying lands a community can use for housing, food gathering and harvesting, cultural or health needs, for example, and lands a community needs to protect. To help balance competing interests, a land use plan declares values and priorities to make land use decisions. For First Nations, land use planning is a way for citizens to tell their story, honor their ancestors and knowledge, and assert their right to self-government. However, there are very few planning tools specifically for Indigenous people to support community-led, participatory land use planning. Our Sacred Land walks communities through a process to create their own land use plan, preparing, making decisions, acting on the plan, and reflecting. The emphasis is on community knowledge, strengths, and capacity. To create the handbook, Naut'sa mawt and Beringia work with an advisory group of 4 female Indigenous planners to guide the research process. The need for the handbook was identified over 18 workshops with 146 participants, representing 108 First Nations throughout BC. The handbook will be shared with First Nations in BC this November. It emphasizes the importance of having a land use planning process driven by the unique culture and governance system of each First Nation. We hope that the handbook will be useful in the years ahead and that it can serve as a model for future collaboration and community planning.